What are your tastes in jazz?
My influences have been very classic in a way. I like performers and you know, the delivery, you know, the way that Ella Fitzgerald or Billie Holiday would deliver. Even what was her name? The French club singer of a long time ago. What was her name?
Anyone knows jazz here?
You can cut this bit. Edith Piaf. That emotive delivery with so much sense and emotion and passion in it. You know, that I suppose that's what I've, even from quite a young age, I've loved that. You know, I like drama. I've done some theatre and some acting. Being able to infuse your voice with emotion it's a really kinetic energy with other people, and it moves me. But I guess Ella is just an incredible singer and a painter with her voice, you know, making colours with her voice and pictures with her voice that you can see, even if you don't understand the words or the language or the, you know, the.
Do you understand what she's singing?
Sometimes, but I guess that we all have our own interpretations of what we're hearing. You know, nothing is quite as black and white, especially with music, because it's more open than talking.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Know, it leaves more space for the imagination and for the emotion, for you to adopt it and make it your own, you know. So that and I love jazz in that respect. I mean, listening to even to the guitar, you know, and closing your eyes and seeing the colours that the guitar or the saxophone or the oboe and the clarinet we were listening to a lot last night. Fantastic clarinet player, and it was just dancing, you know, and taking you on a little trip. I mean, I'm quite psychedelic, really, I suppose. From my youth, my party days and my experimental days in the 90s, you know, you're left with that kind of. You're left with that feeling of psychedelic colour, and music really inspires that in me. Okay. Not so much acid anymore.
You are Libra by zodiac sign.
I am. I'm a Libra.
So it's like considered to be very light, very easy, very air.
Yeah.
Sign.
In fact, I have no earth in my chart whatsoever. I'm air and fire, and water. So there's nothing really grounded about me.
Yeah. So you are always like in a stream of some
consciousness,
some creativity, some intuition, some.
I know. I need that.
Feelings.
I really need that. That if that is stopped or is hampered in any way, I start to be sick, you know, be ill, and physically and mentally, you know. I have suffered with depression in the past, and I put that down to being restricted. You know, I have to be able to fill the space. I have to be able to be free. Otherwise, if I'm restricted, then it makes me unhappy.
What is freedom for you? Because some people consider freedom to be the ability to spend as much money as they can, or to buy things, or to be able to go around the earth all the time, or just literally freedom.
I've been afforded great freedom in my life. You know, I've been allowed and invited to travel the world and to meet so many amazing people and talk to so many incredible people. Get into. I'm also another quality of air is that we want to get in and fill the space. You know, want to go through people and I'm fascinated.
You meet strangers and then you feel like you are.
I'm fascinated by people, you know, and that to me is freedom. Being able to communicate and being able to dance in and out of people's lives and weave that tapestry of, you know, it's exciting to me.
So you're kind of spontaneous person in that sense.
I've been allowed freedom in the respect that I've lived outside of society. I've lived an alternative lifestyle. I've, you know, with no money whatsoever, absolutely no money, you know, literally nothing. But being allowed to, you know, wake with the sun and sleep with the sun and, you know, sit around an open fire and.
So it was much more than anything else.
It was amazing, and my son loved it, you know, and it was a great start to his life because it's taken away that boundary that children so often have. Don't go there, don't touch that, don't stand there, it's dangerous, it's dangerous. He ran free for 5-6 years and had a very fabulous time.
Was it somewhere in the wilderness or?
Yeah, it was on the top of a mountain. And also around the country, you know, we found little pockets of nature to live in, and
kind of gypsy life.
It was a little bit like a gypsy life, yeah.
Sometimes parents
from
say,
festival to festival, making a little bit of money here and there, living together, cooking together. I think that my passion for food and for cooking developed then, because we had to make interesting food out of very boring ingredients. You know, a bag of chickpeas and a bag of lentils. It's like, oh, not again. But you know, you become inventive and creative, and to make it feel good and taste good.
What about your cooking?
Yeah.
What are tastes, and what is like Sian dish?
A typical Sian dish would probably end up in one pot. I love to cook. I've recently discovered Madhu Jaffrey. I mean, not recently, a couple of years. Discovered Madhu Jaffrey, who's an Indian guru of curry making. So I read
so it's
her
like
books.
Ayurveda cooking.
I read her books. Yeah, it's Ayurvedic. It's interesting, and to me, you see, cooking and music are not too far removed from each other. You know, they both sustain us, and they both take a lot of balance, which is another Libran kind of obsession. Is balance, a balance of flavors and a balance of texture and color and taste. There's a similar thing when you're composing a piece of music. You know, you don't put too much. You don't put too little, and you balance.
Try to find that golden middle.
Yeah. I do a fantastic bourguignon. You know, comfort food, homely food. My family love that. We like to eat together, and I don't mean just my blood family, my family that live
in
around
spirit.
me. Yeah. I'm always going to knock on the door at 6 o'clock. You know, what are you cooking? It's like, oh, come on, there's always plenty. You know, there's plenty.
As a Libra, I thought that people are. I myself a Sagittarius, so I'm like
hedonistic and
I don't know how to describe it.
a little bit excessive.
But that's kind of that. If I don't do something creative, I also get stuck and feel bored.
Yeah, you're quite motivated and you like to move, right?
Yeah, with what I want, what I feel like.
Yeah.
So, and I know
very difficult to be in a relationship with, though. Have you had any long-term relationships?
No.
I see.
Did you?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I love being in a partnership. That's another kind of Libran thing. I love being on one-to-one, and my husband is a Libra as well. We both.
You understand.
We understand each other. Yeah, totally. It's blissful. It's really, really lovely. I had to kiss a lot of frogs. I was obsessed with Geminis for a very long time, and they are dangerous to me. But Mike is perfect. You know, he's a great guy. He balances me out. He's very different to me. He's creative in a different way. He's more pragmatic than I am.
But by the way, that's what I was thinking about. That Libra is described as non-practical, in the daily life.
He's so practical. He is.
You
then
are.
I'm not.
You are.
No,
not.
I'm not. No, absolutely not. No, I go from here, not from here.
Not
you
from
know?
heart.
Yeah, I go from my chest, from my stomach. You know, if something feels good, then I will do it, and I will see it through. And touch wood, I'm not generally wrong about things. If I have a feeling about something, then
intuitively
I'm very
right.
intuitive. Yeah.
Because people sometimes don't trust. You say, "Well, I feel it's right," but they are asking for some proof.
Yeah.
What's the proof?
And I always think if it feels wrong, then it probably is wrong. If it feels right, then just go for it. You know, see it through, because there is no time in this life for regretting opportunities missed. You know, grasp it, have it, do it. If you fuck it up, so what? You know, you can always repair it, and you've learned something by it in that process. You know, you've learned if you fuck it up and if it's not right, if it goes to shit, then you've learned something by that process.
I'm feeling inspired. That's why I'm here.
Great.
Look, tell a bit about your life when you were in Wales. When did you move to England? Or?
I moved to England from the mountain, actually. I was living in Wales with an alternative community and in a teepee, which wasn't...
Teepee, like Indian, Native American kind of stuff.
Yeah, cool. Not clever. Not clever in the middle of winter on the top of a mountain. Not even the Indians would live in teepees in the winter on the top of a mountain. They would live in wigwams and kind of...
in valleys.
In valleys, yeah, exactly. So occasionally 1 or 2 teepees would fly away and you in the hurricanes,
no teepee,
in the hurricanes, you just kind of hold on to the middle rope and whoop, 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 as the thing kind of shakes. But you know, it's character building. It's another one of those things that I wanted to do, and I did it. And
so you were born in Wales?
I was born in Caerphilly, yeah.
And there is a valley there, Rimini, or how's it called? I know how it's written, but I can probably say
Rumney.
Yeah, like this.
Rumney, the Rumney Valley. Yeah.
So how was your time spent in childhood, close to nature and?
God, yeah. I mean.
Or anybody was telling you what you have to do, and
my mother would say to me, "You're not made of sugar." So in the rain, in the snow, you would be outside. You wouldn't be in the house. You'd be outside. And you'd be up the mountain, and you'd be playing in the brook, you know, and finding animals and creatures in the water. And it was very feral, but also very disciplined. You know, you had to sit at the table, and you had to go to Sunday school on a Sunday, and you know, you had to. It was disciplined, but then when on a Saturday or Sunday or in the school holidays, we would be outside. I remember. We have these little berries that grow in the low ground in the bracken on the side of the mountains, and we call them wimberries. I think they're kind of blueberries or something. They're kind of blue, and they're quite bitter. But my mother used to send us to pick them, you know, to make pies and things with. So we'd go out with our ice cream tubs or boxes, you know, to go out and pick wimberries, and off we'd go, and we'd be there all day from the dawn till the dusk. And we'd come back with black faces, black hands, empty boxes. Where's the wimberries? My mother would say, they didn't find any, you know, couldn't find any, Mum. I'd be sick as pig.
And some burping.
Yeah, and some sick, some black blueberry sick shit, you know. But it was funny, and it was fun, and it felt safe. And I wanted to give my son a little taste of that. I suppose that's why we moved away from the city and went to live in the country. And it worked. It gave him a broader perspective. It maybe didn't help so much with his discipline for school and stuff, because he was quite wild when we got him into school and didn't really adapt to the discipline. Although now he has a degree and.
Were you wild in school, like rebellion?
Oh,
you know?
terrible! Yeah.
Terrible. Mm-hmm. So discipline is not your kind of stuff.
It isn't really. No.
It's just made out.
I think you should let things grow naturally and find their own way. You know, it's a bit anarchic, but I like it.
That song, there's so many songs in our catalogue. They're all about balance. Between organic and inorganic, between heart and head and soul. That is what Kosheen is that balance. Thank you for sharing with us.
What does having rest or being relaxed mean to you? I mean, some people
I'll let you know when I find that. I don't know.
But do you need times to get recharged in physically or spiritually when you feel like?
Yeah.
I mean, you do what you want, what you feel like, but even that you do that a lot, and you spend energy, you spend time, and
I know I'm better at it now. I'm good at it now. I know my limits now, and I know when I need to go back to myself and rebuild myself. I think in the early days it was you had to just keep going. That was it. There was no stopping. There was no rest. It was a very inhumane process. went from going from the side of a mountain to living in a city, then all of a sudden the career taking off. It was non-stop, and you kind of, I felt in my heart that we had to keep going on this. We couldn't take a break, because if we stopped, then it would go, and then we'd lose it. You know, it was really tough.
Was that true that you would lose that, or you just had this kind
I don't know.
of
I can't.
anxiety?
It was it was.
Anxious
But I think we
feeling?
were pushed. The record companies pushed us, and we just wanted to keep building this project. And
The record company is called Moksha, right?
and then
Or was called?
It is still
Still
it's,
Moksha.
no, Moksha doesn't sign our records now. I have no idea who signs the records now, because I'm not a part of that process, which is another story altogether. But at the beginning it was Moksha Records who signed us, who took an interest in Charles Koch took an interest in us, and it was great. We were naive, we were very green, but I'm glad that we did what we did, you know, because it gave us, he worked very hard for us, and then signed us to Sony BMG, who then, you know, saw this golden egg and cracked it.
Yeah, they're much bigger. But
No.
I just thought that
We
Moksha.
got on the road with Faithless then. They put us together with Faithless, which was a brilliant golden move, because it exposed us to a fan base that we would never have been able to get into, I guess, by starting out small. Sorry, I'll turn this.
Yeah, I was talking about Moksha. I was just thinking that kind of word. You know what that means? That Moksha.
Isn't it
Like-
South American?
It's like from Buddhism, like you know, like enlightenment or
Is it?
kind of that.
Is that what it
yeah,
means?
yeah. It's like from Indian word Moksha. They say to achieve moksha, to achieve enlightenment, to achieve absolute freedom
I didn't
of mind.
bloody know that. All the
Yeah.
years that I've been
You see,
saying that
I
word, I
deliver
didn't
good
know
news.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of
Well,
Indian term
he
for
did
that.
that, and he's an interesting, very driven man, Charles Koch. We're very, very friendly. We're still close. I mean, we had battles to begin with, because, you know, we were fighting for our publishing and fighting for our you know, our creative integrity, I suppose. But he's always been very supportive. BMG, on the other hand, were, you know, they weren't very humane with us. You know, they wanted to make a buck.
Even though they were bigger.
Massive, yeah. But I think the bigger the company, the less
Still they are.
human they are.
Yeah, so they are kind of exception.
Yeah, BMG were hard work. They did great things for us, and they did fabulous things for our first 2 albums. Gave great exposure. I think they could have done a little bit more for us in the States. I mean, there's no gripes, there's no regrets with anything. But I was a mum, I was a single parent, and I was away from my son. So it was fucking hard, you know, being ragged around from one country to the next and having to perform 100% every night, perform 100%, building this fan base, building this reputation, when all the time I wanted to be at home with my son. I was missing my son, I was missing out on those, you know, I tried always to be there on the first day of school, I tried always to be there at birthdays and Christmas, and those were the 3 times that I really had to be there. I remember one time coming back from Los Angeles to be with him, to take him to school for the first day, and I arrived back at about 4 o'clock in the morning, and then had to take, you know, woke up to take him to school at 8, and I was just hanging, you know, I was just almost dead on my feet, but it was important to me and important to him. But they were massive things. There were things that I should have done differently, I suppose. I don't know. It's finding that support as a parent, really, and nobody can bring your children up the way that you want to bring them up. I've put childminders in place, but they failed me. My family, it was too much for them. So it was a battle, and there's a lot of damage done to my personal relationships and my relationship with my son. And I think that Damage, the album, was kind of, that's what I was reflecting on when I was writing the album. It's like,
Do you think children, they kind of whatever parents try to push into their minds or into them, they grow up on their own. In any case, I mean,
I do believe that.
Absorb things on their own. Still, you are talking this, but they are wanting this.
Yeah.
It goes their own way.
I also believe that children choose us. Although, you know, I wanted to do the best job that I possibly could. I didn't have a great childhood myself, so I wanted to give him everything that I didn't have. I mean, I had the freedom when I was, you know, to play. Yeah, I had the mountain, but the parenting, I didn't necessarily, you know, my father and I didn't have a very good relationship, and I really wanted to put a father in my son's life. I couldn't do that because I was away so much, and relationships were shattered by that. I've forgotten where I am. I've forgotten what we're talking about. Sorry.
I also forgot.
Oh, we were talking about children.
I always lose the
I know. I'm there now.
I never
somewhere.
keep to the point.
But as far as children are concerned, I believe that they choose us. Mm-hmm. They choose us. I think that from where they sit in the sea of souls, they can see the whole karmic pattern that they will have from the life that they have with us, and they choose us because they need that in order to evolve, I suppose, as a spirit, as a soul. And I think even though this may be an excuse for everything that I've put my son through, and because we're very, very close, we're such a close.
You're friends.
We're great friends, yeah.
That's good.
We're fantastic friends. But I think that he chose me and this life, and he's had some fabulous experiences along with some really difficult times, but again, that's balance, isn't it?
Okay, tell a bit about your solo project, because I was watching that video from the last gig in Petersburg on the roof, but I could not come because of my broken leg.
Oh,
yeah.
You've been in the wars. If it's not you, it's your cat.
I was also in the battle.
You're in the battles.
Yeah.
The solo project is something I've always wanted to do. It's a need to at first it was just a side project, because a lot of the songs that I've written with Kosheen and for Kosheen, they fitted. They're lovely songs. They're great production, you know. But I wanted to hear them the way that I imagined them at first, which is with strings, with guitars, with instruments, not machines, to let the song sit where it should be in the centre, and be surrounded by musicians. Actually, I miss, because I grew up, my family were very musical. My grandfather was a musician, and piano was always part of our life, violin and singing. My mother was a singer, classical singer, you know, and with choirs. Wales is a very musical place.
Because it's more wild than.
I think it's
than
because I think that I've got a theory about it, that, you know, oppressed people sing. When everything else is gone, they sing. When they haven't got a voice, they sing. They make music, you know, and you can see that as a pattern around the world. You know.
Why was that possible in Italy, like 100 years ago, that everybody was singing, and they were telling that I was reading an interview with Pavarotti, and he was saying that everybody in Italy singing used to sing, but now they don't anymore. Is it because of
It's another way as well of passing on stories, you know, telling stories without books, because I think a lot of our written histories have been captured and destroyed, and that the way of passing information and passing history is through song and through music, and that, you know, that's what we've done in Wales, and that's what has happened in, you know, in Native American culture, and in, you know, the Romany Gypsy culture, and Irish culture. It's a way of accounting without being too inflammatory as well. You know, it's singing songs of revolutions, and you can't be. I don't think you can get arrested for that. But it's I don't know.
Never tried.
Well, maybe, but yes.
Anything that is not fixed on paper and is better. As a way
as
of
long as you keep
transition
singing
from-
it. There's a fantastic book, isn't it, the song lines and how the Aboriginal kind of culture was passed along and walked and sung. You know, they are literally songs that keep their culture alive, and I guess that's the same for me and for us in Wales.
So your solo project is more indigenous for you than
It is
Kosheen.
actually, yeah, it is, and it's a way of reclaiming the songs as well. And I mean, I listen to the albums that we've created, and they're beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
But it's another dimension to the songs, another representation of them, and also it gives me an opportunity to write more. I mean, the writing
Express
process.
yourself more.
The writing process within Kosheen is gone. You know, we don't write anymore. We haven't been in the studio for years, although I've tried to encourage it. It's another, you know, if you're not writing and you're a writer, you lose your identity. I need to write, I need to create, and so when that particular well has run dry, I need to write, and so it's been a lovely, it's been fantastic to rekindle my friendship with an old friend, an old flame actually, Ron McElroy, who 20 years ago used to write, and we wrote some beautiful songs, and now we're back together and writing again. He's married and got children, and it gives me a vehicle. If I, you know, with this new project, I can put some Kosheen songs together, which will obviously placate my fan base, but I can also feed some new material through and test the water with them, you know, and see if we can write songs that be appreciated by the Kosheen fan base and audience, but to move on and to go somewhere else with it. Yeah.
So, right now, what's happening with your solo project?
We're recording.
You're recording.
We're mixing the album down. We're going to put an EP out, I think. There's a lot going on with Kosheen. You know, the Mark has told me that he doesn't want me to sing Kosheen songs the way that I'm doing it. He doesn't want me to record them. He's actually actively trying to stop me from doing this. They're my songs. I wrote them.
Does that mean that Kosheen is like breaking up, or?
Yeah.
But I can't imagine Kosheen without you.
Well, Kosheen, Mark has a solo album that he's desperately advertising under the Kosheen moniker. It's not Kosheen. It's Mark's project. They have different singers on there, and I think Kosheen is the three of us. You know, it was that triangle of different diverse backgrounds and influences that for those three albums really, because the last two albums I like independence, but Solitude I don't understand. The triangle, the chemistry that there is and there was between Mark, Darren and myself, it's lost. You know, and without one part of that triangle it collapses.
Yeah, it doesn't work anymore.
So Darren left the project just after independence. He couldn't handle the touring any longer, and it was very fractious between us because it seemed that they were trying to pull me in a different direction that I couldn't go in. You know, we have to be respectful of those three diverse differences that create that. And there seemed to be no respect for my input. So it made me very frustrated. It made them very frustrated. And Darren left the band. So then you're left with two sides of a triangle that aren't connecting, that are pushing against each other, and it's very painful. So the music that's been created since then, it's just been disjointed and unconnected, you know, and for me,
Not the real Kosheen.
it doesn't feel the same as it did. It's not the same chemistry. So then it's time to, if things aren't working, it's time to change, right? It's time to shake it up and change it.
You're gonna have other guys, maybe other audience at your solo project,
Well, hopefully, but
because they're coming because of you. That's for sure. I mean, yeah, you are right about this triangle. They're coming to this triangle, let's say, but still, it's you there who makes it all, like, who makes this fire.
well, that's what a front woman does. That's what a songwriter does. She makes sense. She she translates.
It's like with the Queen band.
Oh.
Everybody was contributing so much, and that's.
Freddie,
But Freddie was the Queen. Sorry to say that.
fantastic, right?
Not the king, but
I mean, going
the
back to
Queen.
those performers that we were talking about right at the very beginning. I mean, my God, you know, and you know, to be on the stage and to have all that energy coming off your audience, you do channel it, you know, and it gets you high. It's an amazing feeling, and you can see it in Fred as he's walking across the stage, you know, that he's actually absorbing the energy from his audience
Did
and
you see him
using
live?
it. Yeah, huh?
Did you see him
No,
live?
I didn't. No, I didn't. I wish I had.
Yeah. When did
Kate
you,
Bush, another one, you know, that, I mean, in her heyday, now she's a very different performer, but in her heyday she was very physical about her performance, you know, and absorbed the energy from the audience and then threw it back out again and then absorbed it. It's like a cycle. You become part of a vessel for so many people, and it's blessed, you know. I feel so blessed to have been able to do that.
when did you start to sing?
When I was a child.
I mean, how did it
I was
happen?
on the table singing before I could talk.
Huh.
Yeah,
so
my
you
gra-
started
I was-
not with crying, but with singing.
With singing.
Okay.
I was very
That's reasonable.
articulate. Apparently, as a child, I was really articulate. Like my party trick was my mother would say hippopotamus, hippopotamus. You know, and always a performer. Always, look at me, look at me. A bit of a pain in the ass.
Anybody took you along with to shows or concerts? Or
My grandfather did, yeah.
Performances?
And everybody in my family tried to teach me to play the piano, but because of my airy, I was always out the
Nature,
window.
yeah.
I was always
Somewhere else but the piano.
And my grandfather would rap my knuckles with the stick. I really didn't like it. I wish I had now. I wish I'd learned now, but I didn't. I wasn't very good. I can find my way around a piano, and I'm grateful of that from him. I'm grateful of so many things from my grandfather, whereas my father wasn't a very good man, you know, as a father. My grandfather was fantastic and guided me and taught me to sing, taught me to breathe, taught me to deliver, taught me how to stand, gave me confidence, dragged me around the old people's homes and the churches and the concerts and the Eisteddfods and Gamanfa.
He kind of gave you the general overview of the life.
Just taught me how to be a working singer, I suppose. And
let me go and put me back where you found me. Just let me go and put me back where you found me. Just let me be. Let me be me and find me. Just let me go. Don't call me dependency.
What was your like taste in music before Kosheen and before this triangle became real?
Yeah.
I mean, what was in your ears
In my
at
ears,
those times of teenager? How was
Taylor.
it going?
James Taylor, Joni Mitchell. I loved stories, you know, I liked the imaginings, and Kate Bush. Joni Mitchell was a big part of my learning, and I can sing nearly every song she's ever written. Because it became my Bible, her albums became my Bible. Carly Simon, Janis Joplin, females, lots of women, lots of strong creative women.
So you are not like you didn't grow on those rave kind of 90s.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, that's what I was
90s.
listening to when I wasn't tripping and dancing around a
Orbital,
field. Oh
and all that
yeah,
stuff.
Orbital.
Chemical Brothers. I don't know.
Not the Chemical Brothers.
No,
it wasn't really
yeah.
the Chemical Brothers then. Oof, gosh. Eat Static.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, Prodigy. A man called Gerald.
All the 90s guys.
Papa New Guinea. Yeah, Future Sound of London.
Yeah. Do you know the movie
Banco de Gaia.
Human Traffic
Yeah, man.
by Justin Carrigan?
Yes, I
No?
do. Yeah.
You watched it?
Yeah, I lived it.
Yeah, you lived it.
I mean, I used to get a knock on it. I mean, more in my early 20s, really, when with a baby on the hip, you know, we'd be off partying and go into raves, and my son would often sleep on a pile of coats. There you go. You stay there, mummy's.
So that was in Wales?
That was in Wales.
That time?
Yeah, Wales and Oxford. We used to, you know, if I had some childcare, we'd be off to wherever the party was, you know.
Was England the
Shilton
same in that
Airfield.
sense for you, like the atmosphere of that music and relations and?
Bristol was a lot different. Wales was a big was a rave scene. I had to stop raving really when I was, you know, 20.
Have you been
21,
to
I had to
Belfast?
stop raving. No, oh yeah, I played in Belfast. We did a gig there, but I had to stop, and that's when I moved away actually, because it was all getting a little bit too heated in the mid 90s.
Because Belfast is what the song by Orbital, which was used in this Human Traffic movie.
Oh, you're on about that song? You're on about a song, not Belfast.
No, I mean Belfast is the city, but also the Orbital used this name for
I'm
their
sorry,
song.
I can't recall it. You'd have to play it to me.
But it was used in this Human Traffic movie when they're coming back
you know,
from
a lot,
parties.
because I wasn't a DJ. I had lots of vinyl that was gone now, but you never really knew what the songs were that you were dancing to. But if I hear one now, I'm immediately transported back to a muddy field in the middle of nowhere. You know, it was a really great time, but I couldn't be a good parent and be raving, you know. And around me, everybody was just bonkers. So that's why I moved up to the woods.
Next stage.
Yeah, to be around families, I think, because you know I was a very young mum, and I didn't have a great deal of support, and I didn't really know how to be a parent. And I think living in the communities that I was living in, there were other older parents around me that I could get guidance from. So, and there were lots of other kids. So,
Like a community.
yeah, it was better for it helped me to be a better parent.
If you are asked to describe the mates of your solo project in terms of landscapes, how would you describe them?
Can you say that question again?
I mean, if I ask you to describe your mates, bandmates, your solo
my
project,
bandmates.
yeah,
Okay.
as landscapes,
Yeah.
not as humans like he's acting.
Okay, right.
he's
Yeah,
not,
I get
but
you.
landscape,
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So what would that look like?
I think Ron McElroy is like a tree. He's sturdy. He's rooted. He's broad. He's earthy. He shades me with his wide branches. He's a strong man, and also very, very gentle. Our drummer and our bass player Tim and Chris, they are like, you know, they're great. You know, the two of them, they come as a unit. They're together. They speak for each other. They're very locked in. They're jazz, you know. There's a real jazz influence on the new project, and I like that. They're jazz drummer and jazz bass player, but they like it because it takes them a little way out of jazz. Jazz can be quite, although it sounds quite free fall, it can be quite a strict genre. So they love it. They love playing with us, and they work together. John, the bearded man on the piano, John Good. He's a lovely man. You know, he's a Christian, and he's adopted two wonderful kids. He's a great dad. He's just he's so generous. You know, they're very generous, all of them, generous musicians, which is rare. But he's.
What do you mean by saying generous?
Generous. Well, they allow each other space. You know, nobody wants to come forward and be.
Nobody's ego is coming.
Nobody's ego is coming. That's right. It's just the music is our baby, and we're all feeding it, and we're all making it great together. And it, you know, we give each other space to do that, which is lovely. But John is just so happy to be in the band, and he's a very lovely man, and I'm very, very, very happy with his playing. He's a great player. They're all great players, and Ron and I have got a really good relationship where he plays a chord and I know where we're going with it. I can write the song.
Cool.
Come on, it's just time me. I'm gonna catch you if I can. I'm gonna catch you if I can. I'm gonna catch you if I can.
If we cook, get back to the cooking, yeah, that's because I like it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if we cook a kind of dessert called Sian, what would
Dessert.
A dessert?
I'm not really into sweet desserts.
Okay,
I can't cook them,
let's
so I
make
don't
it.
like
Let's
them.
make it salty.
Okay, let's make
not
it.
make
Okay,
it
well, a
sweet.
dessert.
What would the recipe be like? Or any dish, I mean, just anything eatable.
I think Ron said something once. This is a little bit off the beaten track, but Ron was asked in an interview, what's it like working with Sian? And he said, working with Sian is like the weather inside. You can come in the morning and the sun will be shining, and then a phone could ring, and she'll go out and answer the telephone and come back, and there will be a storm brewing. And then the lightning will strike and she'll open a bottle of wine and then the sun will come out again. You know, it's like the weather inside. I guess that I'm quite an obscure dish. A hybrid of emotion and passion and
A mixture.
a mix-up.
A killing mixture.
Yeah. And I'm my own worst enemy. But I'm trying to be my best friend as well, you know. So.
That's wise. What was the most recent dream you have had while sleeping?
I can't tell you.
Okay. any that they can. Something neutral. No? Okay. What kind of flower, as far as you have been so much in the mountains and in nature, what kind of flower is Sian flower?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Or maybe berry, or maybe
I guess
tree.
it's a flower that you have to you have to look for. It's not one that's immediately in your face. I wouldn't be. I mean, I love roses, but I wouldn't be. I don't think I am a rose. I think I'm maybe a little bit more. You have to look through to find.
To find the core.
Yeah, to find the beauty. You know, I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
Sing it, come on, babies. Addicted to love, love, love.
Some fun stories of your solo project on tour or on shows.
Stories.
Did you have any, like some absurd or weird? Or
We're just
whatever?
beginning. We're just beginning. It's always lovely. I mean, we did a show in the Jazz Cafe in Camden, and it was the first show that we've done. And yeah, you moved to Camden. So the show in Camden was the first show that we'd done, and we were like, "Is anyone going to come for this?" And my God, we sold it out. You know, it's a new. For me, it's like starting again and hoping that it's going to be received well, and not. I'm very like I said, I'm very hard on myself. You know, and I doubt myself a lot. I don't know where that comes from. It keeps me grounded, whatever. That I kind of think, oh, nobody's going to want to come and see me on my own. No, but they do, and they do come, and that is awesome. You know, it's just.
So response was.
It was fantastic, and I hope that I'll be able to repeat that in every city that we play, and that the word will soon travel that this is what I'm doing now, and that it's a lovely show, and it's not necessarily you can. I mean, everyone danced at the Jazz Cafe. They all danced like it was a dance gig, but you can sit, you can listen, you can absorb, you can respond, you can participate or not.
Okay, so I'm coming back with this solo project next year to St. Petersburg because I missed that.
Okay, well I'll probably come back this year. There's a lot of love here in
This
Russia
year?
for me. Yeah, I'm gonna be in Russia.
I think in St. Petersburg and Moscow, or just in Russia in general, they have a lot of love for you. Just, I mean, as a person and Kosheen and the solo project. Do they? I mean,
I feel that.
do you feel like
I do.
locals
I feel that.
kind of?
I feel that. I think
you?
it's in the genes of the Russian people though, to be sympathetic and to be empathic and to. I was watching them last night when we went to the Hat, so the jazz club. You know, I was watching people and the interaction. You're a lot less guarded than the British people. You seem to be a lot warmer in a way and more ready to touch each other and to interact with, you know what I mean? It's a lot.
Yeah.
It seems, I don't know whether that's the same all over Russia, but definitely here in St. Petersburg, you're open people, and that, I like that, you know, and that, you know, you show your feelings, you show how you feel about something, and that's very valuable to an artist.
But you don't show it to anyone.
Okay. You're the one with the fucking camera. I have to put it down.
Okay.
This is my dog. This is my lovely dog. This is Banzai.
Wow.
I love you.
Okay, let's get together with your dog.
Oh.
Hey, guy.
Hey.
What style does he bark like?
At the moment, he's got like an old man's bark, but he used
Kind of jazzy.
to like he's old. He's getting old.
Okay.
There you go.
What do you think if we put it in Hermitage?
I think that they would be a fantastic thing.
Or maybe Louvre is better. I'm not sure if they're
Put
gonna
it in the loo.
estimate it the right way, you know. They're so old-fashioned.
What is going on in that woman's mind? Who knows?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is it blah blah blah?
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. Kind of whale sheep.
Yeah.